Good morning, everybody. AJ, the CEO here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I don't know why my the camera moved so slow this morning. Let's tilt that up just a little bit. Hope y'all are all doing well. My gosh, I'm tired. I ain't trying to beat a dead horse, folks. I'm tired, man. Anyway, I'm glad y'all are here with me. My apologies for having to reschedule. We had some other stuff that popped up, and we're going to be talking about that here pretty soon. But thank you so much for stopping by. We try and come here every Friday or Saturday or whatever day is available for us to answer your media ministry questions, folks. I don't know everything, but hopefully the little bit that I know that I got up here, it could at least point you in the right direction and get you closer to what you need to do. And if I don't know it, I will let you know and try and point you in a direction to help you get that stuff done. If you want more information and you want to partner with other folks, I recommend you go to Facebook, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, answer the 3 questions. You are in like Flynn, and you are joining 36 to 3,700 media ministries from all over the world with the whole purpose of trying to encourage and help each other move forward. Not about sharing a sermon and spamming people or nothing like that, or trying to take advantage of the group. It's meant to help lift each other up. If you have a question, I don't have all the equipment there is, but somebody out there has the same equipment, and that's where we're here, just a community to help each other move forward. Let's go ahead and holler at the great folks that are joining me today. Dennis, good morning to you. Anthony, what is going on? Top Ministries Church of Philadelphia, PA, good morning to you. Monty, what is going on, sir? Mike, hello, hello. Excuse me for yawning. Mr. Clarence, good morning to you, sir. Darius, what is going on? Mr. G. Albert, good morning, good morning. Connect Community Church, Hamilton, good morning to you as well. To Indy 2174, hello, hello. Ty, John, Mike, hello, hello. From Milwaukee, man, I don't want none of that snow. My daughter does, I don't. Hey, well, good morning to all of y'all. Let me get this stuff out of the way because we got some tiring stuff. I mean, I know I keep saying the same thing, folks, but I mean, I'm telling you, the last couple of days have been interesting, to say the least. But let's go ahead and fire away. Let's get some of these announcements up and out of the way for you folks. Let you know what is going on here.
Well, first off, my travel, I'm actually going to be in Smithfield, North Carolina tomorrow. Then we're going to be in Smithfield, Virginia, Monday through Thursday, potentially Friday. So our Q&A may change. Be on the lookout for the community post on if that changes. Then Friday evening, I fly out to Hartford, Connecticut. I will be out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to help a ministry out there. Then I'll be back, and then I'm waiting to see what's going on. I may be somewhere on the 19th that week. I don't know yet. Um, but we'll see. I think if nothing comes up, I will be back in Annapolis, Maryland, to finish up the stuff at Beacon Light 7 Day of Venice on Wednesday. But again, just waiting to hear all the details. And why did that not loop? I had that graphic say to loop. Don't you just love when ProPresenter just decides to do whatever it wants to do? What else? Folks, I have let me jump to this. Let me use this platform to shout out your media ministry teams, folks. I mean, a lot of us need some encouragement, and that's one of the best things I can suggest to y'all as being a leader and the head of your media ministry or even as a volunteer. And if you're not, go ahead and encourage those who are working with you, or if they're people and you're the head of the media ministry, use that opportunity to uplift them, encourage them, and thank them for their stuff. Because a lot of us, we're volunteers. Very few of us are paid for this position, and words go a lot further than a paycheck, believe it or not. Paycheck goes once you pay the bills and all this other stuff, but words of encouragement, they linger and they stay. So use that opportunity to lift the people up. And like, I want to use this platform, that same thing. Give me an email. Send me an email at questions@ajhomes.com. Make the subject my media team. Send me a picture of your media ministry. Let me know where your ministry's name, where y'all are located. You don't have to give me everybody's name, but let me use this to give them their kudos and their thank yous for all the stuff that they do. Um, Also, I have had a couple of these, so hopefully we'll be able to. That's what I should have brought loaded up on here. Um, I have had a couple of these, so we will start the live stream reviews. I'm gonna actually start recording them, maybe when I get home, or probably at the hotel next week. Review those and start kind of putting those in place so y'all can see those. Also, what I meant to bring up, I'll do it later. The bigger thing that was eating up all of my time yesterday is this, which I am very happy to finally announce, is the fourth annual E-Missionary Conference is going to be July 24th and 25th here at, back at Antioch in Richmond, Virginia. The website is up and ready for you. Actually, it was frustrating. I put a new theme and all this other stuff, and just stuff started failing like crazy. So I was like, let me roll back the one that we did last year and update everything. So as of right now, because y'all know stuff has changed, we're trying to do a little bit better stuff as well too. But we got the clock there, we got all the stuff in place. So I'll let it know. We are open, needing teachers in person and online. We're also going to need volunteers to help in person and online, all this other stuff. We got 6 months to flip it around, folks. So more information is coming, but we got the details here. We got our dates, speakers, like I said, the schedule, all of that is coming. And these are early bird pricing, folks. Hold on. I see some people said the live stream went down. I'm still live. Well, we got early bird pricing, folks, because I got to get a lot of stuff in place, and really looking for, if you're going to be there in person, please register so that way. Last year I didn't have a list big enough to encourage the hotels to give me a discount and block off some stuff. I would really like to do that to make it easier for y'all and make it more affordable. Online, you can reserve that now, going here or in person, and the group attendees, that's not at it is at a discounted price, but that's from 4 to 10 people. As a group of a ministry, highly recommend y'all go ahead and do that. We got some other stuff that we're going to be working on. Like I said, hotel information, all that stuff. Let's see if we can aim for about 400 people in total, in person and online. Would really, really, really like to see some more people there, some more teachers and everything like that. We're doing a lot of stuff there as well. So let me cut away and let me just show you. I have posted some of this stuff on the Facebook group, but let me cut over here and show you some of the pictures of some of the stuff that we're working on. Forget about the little baby girl right there, but one of the other classrooms we are turning into a podcast room inspired by Monty's setup when he was here last year. So we got some other stuff coming in there. This is one of the bigger classrooms that we're going to have 4 sets to be able to do inside of here. Really excited about that. So Monty or anybody is there that want to do some podcast stuff, we're going to have some more stuff there. Hopefully to have some stuff in place as well. If somebody wants to do some recording, we got green screens, looking at painting the wall and some other stuff as well too. Excited about being able to offer a bunch of those things as well. Love to see you there in the place. And I know it's later than we did. I wanted to do it earlier, but they have Antioch has revival, then they have a church meeting. So they moved their stuff last year. So I didn't want to have them do that again this year. So that's why we're so late. I didn't want to be close to the 4th of July or the week after that. And then the 19th of what I would have preferred. But like I said, they have stuff going on right now. They allowed us to use the place. So, that's why we pushed it for those days. Love to see you there. 4meconference.com. Get registered now. The early bird pricing ends March 15th. We trying to put in some stuff for the catering, the food, all this other stuff. So again, if you plan on being there, please register as early as possible to save yourself some dinero, some money, and would love to see you in the place. We had a blast. For the people who were there last year, let me know, how did y'all feel about it? And we're excited about some other stuff. I think I've blabbed enough. And if I don't get to your question, folks, go ahead and email me a question at AJayHomes.com. Now, I haven't had this in a while. So let me please remind y'all. I try and do the best that I can, y'all, and try and help y'all. Please do not inundate my comments or send me emails asking me to donate to your church. Please don't do that. That's a guaranteed way for me to list you to not donate anything to you. If you only know how many times I get stuff like that, I mean, I honestly, I wish I could. I just can't. I mean, if I have 50 churches saying that we're a poor church and we need you to give us all this stuff, first off, that gets on my nerves. The fact that you're wording it like that, go to God. Don't come to me asking for stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh this morning, but anyway, I try and help as best as I can, folks. I give you everything. I give everything that I possibly can. So just to inundate me over and over and over again, to just give you more and more stuff, like, come on, man. Like, I can only give but so much. Bruh is on empty if you really want to know. But anyway, I think I did that. If me and you go back and forth multiple times, I would highly recommend you go ahead and set up a consultation with me so I have dedicated time to talk with you over Google Meet, FaceTime, Zoom, phone call, whatever, or on-site. That is the easiest way to set up stuff as well. I think that's about it. Now let's go ahead and start this Q&A. Please start off your stuff with a Q so it makes it easier for me to jump out. Again, I want to thank Top Ministries Church, Philadelphia, PA. Thank you for the super chat. Much, much, much appreciated. Let's see. Now, the other thing I will say, if y'all haven't been a part of it, again, I recommended this on last year's conference when I talked about the your broadcast network. So I will say, I jumped on it, and we have our Read the Bible in 1 year. I have been posting tons and tons of videos, recording. I need to record a couple of these. I normally record these 4 sessions a day so that I can be ahead of the time. So right now we got a bunch out here, and I got a whole lot more that have not been released yet because they're scheduled. So they're scheduled to release every day at 4 p.m. And again, some of these are very short readings. They're not really long, and this one seems too short. Hopefully, I didn't cut the wrong one. But we have those built out, and would love to show you the whole process of me doing this. So let me just show you, because I actually have a bunch of this in place. What I've been doing, and where's my Excel? So I had ChatGPT help me create my reading list. So this is the reading list that you can get from my website. And these are all the days that I've had recorded. These are all the ones that have been produced so far. So we're 46 days out. So I'm trying to get all this stuff done so I can just schedule it so it'll just be released every day. So I'm going to show you in real time what we're actually doing here, because while I'm scanning, looking for some questions as well too. So in here, I'll come in here for my next reading. That's Leviticus 19:21. I will come over here to my reading plan, and I come in here and say, please, if I spell, and ChatGPT is not accepting my, there it goes. There I can spell summarize. Please summarize into one main theme, Leviticus 19:21, and create an image prompt for that theme. And again, most of the time I go in there asking specifically to Ty, if you only knew how often I get that. More than you know. All right. So now again, the fact is, I'm not some super Bible scholar that I know everything and inside and out. I wish I did. Maybe I wouldn't be so frustrated with how life and world is right now if I actually knew all this stuff. But anyway, I have it summarized here. And again, I say that to say that I just don't trust AI like that. I need to go in and reference some of this stuff as well too to make sure it's right. So it says Leviticus 19:21 teaches that holiness is not confined to worship ceremonies, but is expressed through daily behavior. How God's people treat one another, care for vulnerability. Man, see, y'all know I'm not trying to get political, so I'm gonna just let that stew, right there. How God's people treat one another, care for the vulnerable, honor authority, respect life, and maintain moral integrity. God calls his people to reflect his character in both personal conduct and community responsibility. So I have it generate this. I take this, and they always add this stuff at the end because ChatGPT doesn't like generating certain stuff. And then I say create image of, and then I just paste that prompt and let it do its thing. Now, what I have done, and I want to know what y'all want me to do with this. Y'all are going to see them as my thumbnails, but these are all the thumbnails that I have it generate. So I don't know if you can see it. When it generated Adam and Eve, and I kept telling it to stop creating an apple. The fruit that Eve ate was not an apple. But anyway, it kept making an apple, and then it put a bracelet on her arm. So I had to have it remove that bracelet. That's why you see that line right there. But we've had it generate all these images. I asked it to be ethnically and based on the location of where this was to make it accurate. Again, I'm not talking about black, white, or whatever. I mean, I want the people to be accurate to where it was. If you getting beat down by the sun all the day, you're not going to be, anyway. I want the clothing to be as accurate as possible. And that's what I always ask it to do. I ask it to pull from the characteristics that are listed in the Bible and don't make up some stuff. So anyway, we have it going through here. And sometimes I have to tell it to stop repeating the same image, but it does keep my characters the same. I don't know if I'm going to make this into a calendar or something like that because they did do some very nice pictures in here. So we're working on that. So that's when it's talking in Leviticus how to handle with clean skin and issues and discharges and all that other stuff. So anyway, we're here at 19 and 21. And let's zoom up here just a little bit. Now let's see what ChatGPT has made. All right, that's not a bad image. So what I would do is download that. And sometimes I want it to do a filler. I think this one might work well, so I don't need to add anything to that. So I'll just take this one and just bring it over here. And it doesn't do it in the aspect ratio that I need it to. It's 16:9, but that one worked. And we definitely need to crop that because that's too big. And that's it. So these are becoming the thumbnails for the Bible reading that I do through the year. And that's how I do it. Now, that's the same way I do that for any of the stuff. If I wanted to use ChatGPT or any of these features to make sermon thumbnails or anything like that, that's an idea of what you could use. And again, I am stalling to see if anybody has any other questions. Kay Johnson, good morning to you. And I need to turn my fan up. It's hot. Good morning to you. Philip Paul, good morning to you. Brandon, hello, sir. Let's see, where are we at? Indy 2174. Well, I love it. Where do you show the media team? Is it a community? Yeah, that's all on the Facebook group. Mike is saying for the new year, we're ramping up some stuff and putting into practice some marketing from Pastor Rob. Yeah, I had a bunch of people post some other stuff. Really want to really push forward. Again, and maybe this is more of like a candid moment with AJ. I'll wait. We'll see if it goes into that. But I mean, that's what kind of like I'm doing. Because I mean, for me, y'all know I'm a preacher's kid. I remember sitting in on my dad's church meetings, and I would just hear he would want to have a vision of what he would want to do. And I would just hear so many people use all their imagination and their energy to say how it couldn't be done. And very few people would ever say how it could be done. It's almost kind of like the 12 spies. You got 10 people saying what it couldn't be done, and then 2 people said what could be done. I took that to heart to wherever I'm at, honestly, even to my detriment sometimes, I'm more about trying to help move whatever forward. I'm not the greatest musician. I'm not the greatest singer. I'm not the greatest media ministry person. Never professed to be, but I want to know that I've given the best that I possibly can in all the stuff that I do. So like, that's why like right now I'm not at any given church, but whatever church I'm at the moment, whether I'm training, whether I'm helping, and not even church, just in general, just trying to help the best that you possibly can. So that's why if Pastor Paul has a vision of wanting to do this stuff, I do the best that I can to help. Most of that stuff in that podcast room are extra pieces of equipment that's been sitting in my closet over here that is not going anywhere. That's why I say I feel led to give stuff. When people immediately ask me to give them stuff, that's when I get turned off by that. But I say all that to say that it's like, hey, I've been asking and recommending people doing courses, playlists in their content. And it's like, why not do it myself? I mean, granted, it's not like I'm not carrying the load of 50 people. Obviously, we can just carry some more, whatever. But yes, Brandon, yeah, they do. Back to Mike. I'm a little sad that we have to market to the people in the church as well. I mean, hey, that goes back to this. You got that right. Let's see. We got a question here from Stuck 4108. Good morning. When you are running cable, how do you decide if you are using SDI or HDMI fiber optic? Is there a preference? Does it matter? The first thing I normally look at is price. Well, actually, let me take that back. The first thing I look at is the environment of where the cables are going to be in. So, for example, Cypress, can I open that up? Cypress Baptist Church, that's an install that I'm getting ready to do next week. Originally, hold on. I'm going to take this over here so y'all can see the layout here. So in this layout that I designed for them, originally, all of this stuff was going to be SDI cables. And because we were going to run everything up under the crawl space where critters and stuff could get there. So I was going with SDI cable, RG6, coax cable, because the insulation and it's more protective, because those are the same cables that if you have cable internet or cable TV, they ran them outside, they can handle the weather, they can handle whatever that are out there. If it's in a hazardous environment, that's when I do SDI. The second thing I go from that is price, because when you do SDI, you're going to have to do a converter on each one. Originally, the Blackmagic SDI to HDMI and HDMI to SDI converters were going for $55 and $60 respectively. Now they've jumped up to $75 and $80 each. So that throws a significant price. So every TV that you have to do, you're adding not just the cable, not just the connectors. You have to have a converter on each end. So running a TV, so this TV that's in the pastor's office, this is the only one that these are the only two. I forgot the fellowship hall is right beside the pastor's office. These are the only two where I'm going to be running SDI, because we're going to be running in the crawl space all the way up under and then up into those two locations. Those are going to be some hazardous places. Everywhere else where it's like in the sanctuary that I can probably keep the cable inside or go in the attic where it's not going to be anything crazy, I can do fiber optic HDMI. Now, the other thing the other thing is the distance. Fiber optic HDMI can go up to 300 feet. I've used that. Technically, fiber optic cable can go 29 miles before you actually have to repeat it. SDI cable goes 300 feet. Ethernet extenders, I've never seen one do good after 150 foot. So that's the reason I do that. Now, you could always get some, I was thinking about doing everything as fiber optic HDMI cable, but put that under the crawl space. But then I would need to put PVC or some conduit to protect it, to give it another shell. And because of getting into that space, it is very difficult to run 150 feet of PVC pipe and squeeze in there and get that. So that's the reason why I went with that, because SDI cable can just go. So long drawn out answer, that's what I do. If it's in a hazardous environment, I always go to SDI. If I have to, I will put it in a PVC pipe and put the cable in there and run it that way. So like that's what I did at Signs and Wonders. We had to run a fiber optic cable for the internet because it was way longer than 300 feet for the internet. So I ran a fiber optic SFP cable and put that in PVC pipe and buried it around the perimeter of the church, then ran it on the roof and then down the wall. So anyway, long drawn out answer. That's why I do it that way. Pastor Rob, come on now. There you go. Good morning to you, sir. Rest. What is this rest thing that y'all keep speaking of? BBPL BZ got a question. Can you explain how the DeckLink work with Mac? I have 5+ TVs and I want to present to them what's on the live stream. How the DeckLink works on the Mac? Well, for my Mac, because I had this for a client and then it just didn't work, so we ended up building them a system. So with my Mac, I have this external case that has a DeckLink card inside of it. So again, I don't know what program you're using to send this out, but say with my Mac, OBS can talk to this, and I can say I'm bringing in everything. Say my Mac is live streaming, and I have a Decklink mini monitor, so that's pushing out an image. That's what's inside of here. I can have everything come into OBS, have OBS talk to this, and then output it. And then I have both of these actually work when you're using OBS. You can use HDMI or the SDI and then feed it out and then just do a splitter, and then video and audio that is being sent to the program that supports it. Like I said, OBS, because that works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And they have the drivers to talk to the Decklink. That will send the video and audio out, and then you just split that signal and then run it to wherever. So just like the previous question that we just had, if you ran that HDMI out to a splitter, boom, that's it. And you just run that to any of the TVs, and then there's no converter needed. If you do it to SDI, you are going to need to convert it back to HDMI so that all the TVs can actually see it. So I hope that helps. Mike, I started your Bible plan, but I'm already behind. Accountability is key thing. Everything that can be done, anything that can be done to keep us on track. Honestly, I have to force myself the same way. It's like the same, like me personally. I'm 198 pounds. My ideal weight is 135 when I was like in the Marines. I mean, that's going to be difficult to get back to. So I can just say this. When I lost all this weight before, when I was in college, I had to make it a lifestyle change. Meaning that when I was in college, what I did is I worked out 6 days a week. Sundays are the day that I rest. And I had to plan it in my time. So when I was at Hampton, I took all early classes. So my earliest class was at 6, and I was done by 11 or noon. So I had the whole afternoon to do whatever, and then I had band practice. So the way my schedule worked, and I know I'm getting back to your question, the way my schedule worked is that's when Uno was still with me, my loving Jack Russell that I miss him so much. I had him at school with me in my apartment. So I would get up at 4 a.m. I would work out from 4:05 until 4:50. Then I'd take a shower. Then I'd take him for a walk, which was my cool down from my workout. I'd be back at 5:30. I'd take my shower. I'd have a protein shake that I already made the night before. I would drink that on my way to my first class. And that night before, I made all my lunches as well, too. So I had my first class at 6. That'll be over at 7:30. And then I'd go to my next class. My next class will be over at 8:30. Then I'd eat meal number 2, which was like a turkey sandwich or something like that, or another protein shake. I'd eat that. Then I'd go to my other class. I say all that to say that I had it scheduled to where I didn't do it out of, I like to do it. I just followed the routine. It's kind of like when I go on cruises. I schedule out everything while I'm here. So when I get on the ship, I don't even think. I just follow the list of what I'm doing. So for me, what I have to do is I don't sleep very well. So most of the time I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So instead of me just sitting there and doom scrolling, I come upstairs and I just sit up here and just record a session. The easiest thing to do, and that's the reason why I had the scriptures be so short, it's like 10 to 15 minutes. Now, this might be too much information for y'all, but this is what I call bathroom time. The amount of time that you can read through the scripture and the amount of average time that you would go to a bathroom. So if it has to be, hey, this is during your morning constitution, you read through it then and watch it, that's a year. Or at the evening, you literally have to just schedule it and then forget about the likes, the pleasure of doing this or that. I mean, I have to put it that way. That's why I had to do it with working out. It finally got to the point where I enjoyed working out, but I say all that to say there's a gym across the street, and if that gym was free, I'd love to be able to go over there and do that. But anyway, I need to develop something like that. Hope that answers your question, to develop the consistency, because I'm dealing with the same thing. That's why I'm asking y'all to be consistent with me, because I really didn't want to record that, but I'm like, man, how do I meet both of those issues at the same time? Instead of me recording every single day, I'm going to record every single day, but record 4 to 8 recordings so that I give myself prep time. So in one day, like I'm going to record 8 of them so that when I'm gone and running around doing an install next week, last thing I need to think about is trying to sit down and record when I'm tired. So I'm going to take advantage of one day I can record an entire week. And then the next day I record another entire week. So now I'm already ahead, so behind. But anyway, that's just me. Philip Paul, just want to find out, did you get my email from me after you reply? It stated on my side. Yeah, I replied to you. I was saying that the graphics card that you had does not support multiple outputs, and my email to you was asking how many display outs that you want, because that GT 210 only supports dual monitor out. It does not support 3. Brandon, what is a reliable and affordable audio interface for a video conference call for a Bible study? That would be the M Audio. And I think I left the other one. I had like 3 of them here. I mean, if you want one, Brandon, I can send it to you. You just pay for the shipping for it. But it's a simple audio interface that will connect to your computer over USB. And, ooh, man, that thing has gone up in price too. Everything has gone up in price. I had a bunch of these. So it's this. I mean, it just connects over USB, plug in, whatever, and then that gives you the volume to all the stuff that you need. If you want one, Brandon, just hit me up. You just pay for the shipping. I'll send it to you because, like I said, it's collecting dust. See, this is where I'm saying I don't mind donating because I felt led to do it. If Brandon, if you were like, man, AJ, give me an interface, then that's when I'm like, no. But that's the one. I'll put a link down below if you want one of those. I've used those for years. Actually have one set upstairs in the chapel at Antioch for that same purpose. But I think we're moving to some other stuff. We got some new video switches that are coming in. So I'll be able to replace that. I guess I can announce it as well, too. Famako reached out to me. I have a new switcher that they're going to be sending me to test. And this one is a good one, folks, because it has a PTZ joystick built in, and it streams at 4K. 4K input, 4K streaming. I'm supposed to be getting that here maybe in about a week or 2 weeks. Then they're also sending me a new 4K PTZ. That's the sub $800 price range. So excited about that stuff. So, I mean, we're almost there. We're almost there when it comes to that stuff. Yes, sir. That's why I am dreading getting, not dreading. I'm not looking forward to crawling up under their Cypress. But, hey. And I think I got you on that one. Pete, good morning to you. Brother Art, hello. All right, follow up here. To be more specific, is running an HDMI fiber optic cable inside over a drop ceiling or PTZ for more? Yeah, that's the scenario where I would do that. Yes, that would be more than fine. That's kind of like the situation how I'm going to be doing Cypress. I have 3 cameras that are going to be in the sanctuary, and I have one in the front, one in the side, one in the back. I have a 75-foot fiber optic that's going to go to the one in the back. Then I have 100-foot that's going to the one on the side, and I have 150-foot fiber optic HDMI that I'm going to run in the drop ceiling or in the attic or whichever way that's going to go to the camera that's going to be in the front. So, yes, that is more than fine. Pastor Rob, this is how I do my podcast. You have to stay focused because it's easy to fall behind. You have to have a schedule. Exactly. They're okay. I personally use Mouse Beyond Borders, which is a software equivalent one. That's what I use here on my computers here. So that's a software-based one that I have on all my computers here. So my keyboard and mouse here, I like when y'all see me move I got my mouse right here. And I don't have a camera. That's right. The other camera I have set up at I gave the AVCams one over to Antioch, so that's the one that's actually there. So is this camera 2? No, that's the camera. That's the ceiling one. So right now, when I have my mouse right here, when I move this over here, and I have that going over here. So if I move here, as you can see now I'm moving this. I use that for my software one. Now, yes, I do have some hardware ones, but then that just introduces a whole bunch of pieces of stuff, that equipment and cables and all this other stuff. And I just get the software one. So nothing the matter with it. But again, most of the stuff came in that I didn't have. People wanted to give me money to pay for the stuff that I wanted. So I had to find other stuff. And that I've been using that one for years. And it works great. Hey, you are welcome, Mike. And that's the reason why I say it every time in that reading. It's like, hey, to encourage each other, because I mean, it's hard. Like, it's hard for me to get up here and do it. Untie my bow tie, yellow bow tie. That's man. With all the installs, what kind of lighting have you seen? Honestly, I have not done lighting yet. I've actually reached out to a person who was on when I did the worship summit with PTZ Optics. I have a contact information with the guy who spoke after me who does lighting. So hopefully want to bring him in. We are going to do some lighting at Elgin when I'm back up there, because I think they're finishing up a lot of the stuff on the outside of the church. And I know I will be back when we do the new cameras inside the sanctuary and all that stuff. Let me see. Normally they haven't posted a new update of the sanctuary yet. Trying to show an image that makes it well. I mean, this is a bad example. I mean, but the picture's too small to see, but that's where they're at right now. So they got maybe a third of the roof covered. And then once they have it covered, that's when I'll be back in there to set up their media room and all that other stuff. But that's what's going on. Back to Stuck 4108. I'm donating an A10 Mini Pro to a small church, but running into cache issues that stops the stream. Is there an easy fix? Most of the cache issues is either going to be because of the streaming key, the upload speed is not fast enough to maintain the stream, or the ATEM is set to the wrong setting. So make sure it's not set to hyper deck in any type of recording. I would set it down to stream low, and see how that's working. Also, from a live streaming at low, you need at least a minimum of 10 megabits per second upload consistently. If not, you're going to have that issue, which is causing the caching. Alrighty, let me know. Let me know. I'm waiting to hear. I don't know if it's 4 or 6, because they reached out to me at the beginning of the year. I will let you know when that happens. What software are you using in this live to bring the questions? I'm using vMix. I had a video talking about that breakdown of that. So yes, this is the reason why I'm using vMix. And I know some people were saying that it's expensive. It's expensive if you're not interested in it. Again, I mean, think about it in general. Like, Pastor Rob and I have electric vehicles. Some people think that's expensive, and up front, yes, it is. But the fact that I don't have to pay for all the other maintenance, oil changes, and all this other stuff, in the long term, it's not as expensive. I mean, it's always a matter of perspective. So, but yes, I have a breakdown that talks about that video, and that's vMix. Philip Paul. Actually, I replied back again after that message. The USB problem, and yeah, regarding graphics, I was thinking of 3 inputs since the card. Now I haven't. If you sent it, I have not gotten that another email that you sent me. Ton Mackey. Good morning. Do you plan to update the settings or use the ATEM mini lines up, since there are a lot of firmware updates from where they started, because the people who still using it? Are you talking about the original A10 Mini? Let me know before I answer that. Exactly. I plug in downstairs. And again, I mean, I've had my Tesla is at it just talks about everything being done unto the Lord. I bought my Tesla October 2022. As of right now, I have 112,426 miles on that. And I've changed the tires 4 times, changed the windshield 3 times. One person bumped into me, so I have a dent over the right rear passenger side, and their insurance company only gave me $2,000, and they were talking about it was $5,000 to fix. So we just live with that dent, and all I do is change windshield wiper fluid. I've had one issue with the HVAC system, but that was under warranty, and at this point, because of the mileage, I'm out of warranty. So, but I mean, Sierra is treating me well. That's the name of my car because I gave it a name in the thing. I didn't want it to be Model Y, but she is treating me well. Mr. Clarence, I'm interested in using vMix, but cannot envision getting through the 800-page manual. No, I mean, it's just think of it. If you've been using OBS, you just have to change the mindset of OBS does stuff in scenes. And that's what that breakdown video kind of breaks down of. Instead of it being a scene, you have a source and you build triggers into that source to act like a scene. I know it sounds complicated, but seeing how I walk through that vMix stuff, hopefully that makes sense. All right, so your question was back to the original. Do you plan to update the settings or use the A10 Mini lines up since there are a lot of from? I mean, normally I don't have an A10 Mini anymore. I haven't had one for years, but honestly, it's still good as long as it takes the updates. I mean, that can be a simple interface that, like, you have your pastor and they're not really technical savvy. Just consider it as nothing but a switcher, a big webcam. So they can have a camera that's pointing to them, kind of like can't use that, the YOLO Cam S3. That won't plug into that. But like you can have like a regular cam, maybe like your phone. Because I have like this USB-C to HDMI dongle that will turn my phone into a HDMI camera that I can plug in, and then have one of the other inputs be the computer. That's kind of like the mindset we're going to be using in the podcast studio. Because I gave them my A10 Mini Pro, but I'm thinking, depending on how some of these other switches that they gave me, I need to have, there's going to be, let me bring that picture up. Back up. So let me give you the layout of the thought of this thing. So, I'm trying to bring this into talking in comparison. So this is one area right here, directly behind where the green screen is another one. Then in the center, that's another station. And then this back wall, there's another one. So there's going to be 5 spaces that we can have shots. There's the AVCam's 4K that I was looking behind me. That's where it is up here. And there's going to be a 65-inch here. So when we do hybrid services, somebody will be in here. I have a cable ran from the Thor that's coming here so they can see the live feed from the sanctuary, so they can see when service is going to start. Also, I need to have, this screen is the multi-view of whatever video switcher that we're having, so whoever's operating can see what's going on. But then the A10 Mini Pro is not going to give me both outputs. So I need another output that will feed into the TV as a second input, and say comments from when people are watching can be output right there. Whatever material they're going to be preaching from or talking from or whatever is going to be right there. So that's the mindset here. The other thing we're going to be doing is actually painting in here. Going to put some carpet down, looking at getting a couch and some other stationary stuff. Take out the lights, old lights that you have in the church. When you turn them on, they're like, you hear that in the background. I'm going to take that out and put some pancake LED lights in there. Probably put some more insulation to do some sound absorption and probably put some sound dampening stuff on the walls. And just to let y'all know, I ain't paying for this stuff. Most of this stuff, all of that was my free labor. That was a mount from Cypress Baptist Church that I already had that I gave them and put there, and I just bought another one. You know, that's my reasonable service or whatever. Those are my old lights that I used to have before I had these lights that were just sitting in the closet. That was, I don't know if you remember, that's the PVC wiring that I had on the floor at the house I was renting that encased all my cables and stuff like that. So, like I said, we try and do a lot of that stuff. So, like I said, in this perspective, that would be the multi-view. That is the latest. That's the PC 500, the Tenveo that we just had. I may put the other one that actually does the jumping for podcast stuff. Just really trying to decide. But that's kind of like the mindset of there. So I say all that to say that in that same A10 Mini, if you're just looking to have something to have a higher quality camera and have your computer and doing some of the basic effects and you don't need a multi-view, yeah, the A10 Mini, the original one, still works great for that. That's what I used to use before I gave it away. I had that one connected to my Mac so that I could do that stuff as well too. Indy 2174, that's unique about it. We can use vMix Social without actually having the entire live stream pack. Exactly. I did a video talking about that as well too, that you could use it. The only issue is as long as the computer is robust enough, it's not really that taxing. But I've seen people that try and live stream and they live streaming on a system with 4 gigs of memory and it's pushing that thing to the limit. But technically, you could have another laptop. You can download the free version of vMix and just have nothing but one text slide, kind of like graphic like this, and vMix Social, and you can integrate that into OBS. I had a video talking about how to do that. I might do an updated one if y'all really need me to. Philip Paul, what graphics card that would do out 3 for me? I mean, if you can find one, because I still have this as the capture card. I mean, as the graphics card at Antioch, it is a GTX 1050. I mean, if you can find one of those, I mean, again, live streaming is not as serious as like gaming. So like that's overkill in price, but if you could get something like this, oh, that would be more than enough. I don't know these vendors. That's the other thing you got to be careful of. People just be selling random stuff. But yes, this does support 3 outputs. Again, I don't know that company. Like if you could get an MSI one, or even if you can find this one, because I used to use these all the time. Is this a GT2 710? This will support 3 outputs, but again, the connectors, you only got one HDMI, and you have a VGA and a DVI. That would work. I used those for years. But if you want something that got some horsepower, if you can get yourself, again, I can't speak on this because I don't know the brand, who this is. I mean, honestly, I think Gates of Faith is still using the GTX 750. That supports 3 outputs as well too. I mean, you're looking for something. If you're looking at the NVIDIA line, you need something that's a 50. So, you know, you have the 1050. If you get anything under the 50, it doesn't have the hardware encoding in the chip. So if you look at like the 230 or something like a 30 card, like I have a GTX 1030 that doesn't support it, anything like that. And then that also gives the amount of power for you to be able to do more outputs. Pastor Rob was saying, I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee and was paying $100 a week in gas. You add that up in a month and it's almost a car payment. Yeah, I mean, because I think my Volkswagen Tiguan, I put about 4,000 miles a month on my car. That was before the Model Y. That, I mean, just from me going around here to churches and stuff like that. And it was like around like $60 to $70 every time I put gas in the car. So I was filling it up 3 times a week. So you're talking about $200 and some a week. times that, that's, I mean, for a month, that's $1,000 on top of the car note, which was 500. That's 1,500. With all the driving I'm doing right now. Now, yes, I mean, I give it away. My car, because I had to pay off my old car at the same time. My Tesla is $950 a month. I pay for that. But then with all the driving I do, my power bill, with all the driving and charging every night, it's gone up by $100, $150 at the top. So for $150 a month, I'm paying the same. I'm driving the same amount of what I used to do, where I was paying $1,000 just in gas. Also, it says the road stuff is looking good. I might get the Road Video S. I want to do that, but again, that's me paying for that stuff. So I'm kind of like, the little stuff is fine. Well, I'll get to that anyway. I currently use the Road X and ditch the ATEM altogether. Cool. Otis, you know, Unify used to make LED lights, but you can't get them anymore. I really wanted to get one and get those because I thought they were really cool. I don't even know. Do they still sell those? Looking at their update. First in the store, Unify LED was removed as a top-level product alongside of the Unify products and moved under accessories, but not listed alongside the rest of accessories. Let's see. Can I find them on their store? So we go here. We go to accessories. Paintable Keystone wall plate. That's new. Yeah, see, they ain't got nothing here. I don't believe, yeah, they don't make those anymore. I wish they did. I really wanted to get one, but nah. That would make it really cool though. Would that M audio you showed today be good to hook to an old analog mixer to run sound into an ATEM Mini? Yeah, it would, but I would personally, depending on the mixer, the same output that you're going to be running out, you can always convert that into a 3.5, and that can go directly into an ATEM. If you don't have that as an option, yes, the M audio would work. That's exactly how I had it set up at Antioch, in the chapel. Parker, hello, hello. Otis says he's using a 1080 Ti and it works great. Yeah, as long as you have a 50 and higher, I mean, that has the encoding, so it's going to work great. Creative for Fun, hello, hello. Yeah, installed some floodlights. So, folks, I'm gonna bring this up just so that people remember, because we got some new folks that pop in. I do want to promote this as much as possible. Please share this. I have graphics and all that other stuff is coming. Teachers, volunteers, support. Look out for a meeting that's coming soon and registration. But just letting you know, it is official, the 4th annual 4ME Missionary Conference. It is going to be in person and online again. It is going to be July 24th through the 25th back at Antioch Baptist Church. Again, you can go to 4meconference.com and get registered. Early bird pricing started yesterday and ends July 15th. Just because of the food and all this other stuff like that, I have had to bump the price up. So right now, tickets are $100 if you're in person. That's going to cover breakfast, lunch, and dinner for both days. And ask anybody who was there. The food was the bomb. I'm asking Fatima to cater again. She's celebrating her 50th birthday, so I'm waiting to hear back from her. So she might have her sister do the catering and she make the stuff, but everybody enjoyed the food, so looking forward to that. So it's worth what you got from there. Online, I think it's going to be, right now it's $60. It's going to push up to $75 because we got to pay for the online license and for seating for everybody. But would love to see you there. And if you don't mind, I know I've been posting it. I haven't asked specifically, but please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry, and it helps let people know, and the algorithm push this to more people. All right, Philip Paul, how long do you save church recordings? 2 years. Multi-track record, ATEM recording edited. I record for I keep the ISOs for 2 years. The final recording, I upload that to wherever, YouTube, whatever, and it just stays there. After 2 years, then I dump it. So right now, they have a backup of 2025 and 2024. I'm going to remote in and delete that stuff. And I might be able to do it with 3 since I gave them my Ugreen NAS, so it's more space. So I might do it for 3 years. Matt, what do you think about the Rode Video S not having 2 HDMI outs to use for multi-viewing program? It's not a kind of limitation to force you to. It's not a kind of limitation to force you to get a full size one. That Rode one, I need to look at it again. I know Creator for Fun let me borrow hers when I did a deep dive on that. Let's see. See, that's my issue with the ATEM Mini Pro. I still like it, but the fact the ATEM Mini, I'm going to the wrong output. The ATEM Mini Pro, it only gives one output. It only has one USB, so that's why it's limiting what I'm doing. I didn't realize. See, that with that only one out, this might not be an option for me because I need that multi-view for the operator, and then I need another one for the full out for everybody to see what's going on. So I can see if you had a podcast room and everybody is looking at that multi-view out, that could work in that scenario. Me personally, just the vision of what I have with, I'd rather go big now and know they're going to have space. Like personally, I don't want to do this. I'm not compelled to do this yet. I have another ATEM Mini ISO that I use for traveling, and that's sitting up under my desk. If I had the option and I felt led to, which I'm not being led to do that, I would put that there because then I can have 8 cameras. I have super source. I have multiple outputs. I have multiple USBs for USB connection and recording. That would be my mindset. The only issue that I don't know why Blackmagic doesn't do this. If they did an update that they could automatically jump just like all these other switchers for podcasting that make it easier, that would be my go-to. But for the S, I kind of like what Pastor Rob's trying to set up. If he's doing that stuff himself or he's interviewing somebody and he doesn't need to have multiple outputs, yeah, I can see that working. For me, that's not enough inputs for me, personally. Mike Skilla, let's see. My presenter has been lagging with uploaded videos and YouTube videos. There are no updates available. Internet is good also. And the rest of it got cut off. So I'll wait for update. Back to Ty. Do you consult on networking, VLAN isolation, firewall configurations, and that? I've never had to consult anybody. Most of the time, I set that up myself. I haven't had anybody ask me to do that. Yeah, looking at trying to implement some other stuff and trying to implement some stuff that I don't stress myself out. I'm using Prism Live Studio. I really appreciate the removal of the background, but it is not consistent. It is acting up like the Zoom app. What is the alternative to remove the background? Now, are you removing your background? Do you have a green screen or anything? Or are you kind of like doing Zoom where it uses software to interpolate and guess what's behind you and remove it? Which one do you have? Yes, I have reviewed that. That's the one that I put at Antioch. I did that review last week. I think it's good. I think it's, I need to play around with it more. I think it's a good option. It handles streaming and all that other stuff fine. Have you had a chance to look at the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2? It does exist. I have seen people get their hands on it at that $2,100. It's not going to be on my hands anytime soon. Now, I'll be honest. If money wasn't an issue, and I wasn't, bouncing around and doing all this other stuff, what I would probably do is buy the ISO G2 and then put my ISO over there in that podcast studio. That's where I can see justification. Every time when I upgrade my stuff, I hand that stuff off. So, like, for example, you can't see it and I'm in the way. That's my own cast server that I used to have sitting over here. Just to let y'all know, these prices have gotten out of control. So I have 32 gigs of memory sitting in here. So it was easier for me to pull, because I don't use that system that much, and I've been using these for parts. So I took the memory out of that and put that in a computer that I'm building for somebody, because to get that same amount of memory, it was going for $475. No. So that's why I'm bumping my stuff down to 16 gigs unless somebody specifically asks for it. And like, I ordered some memory and it's taken 3 weeks for it to come in. Can't function off of that. On your unified router presentation, what tool did you use to get Antioch's mixer IP address to show that it's not, that's built into the unified stuff? It shows the IP address. When I just listed in there, if I log into the unified router, it just shows all that stuff. So it's not a separate piece of hardware or anything like that. So for example, if I log in, this is just their interface. So when I went here, I knew what it was. I knew what it shows X32, and that's why I just grabbed the IP address. So that's me logging into the router. That's it itself. And then thoughts on a parent a hotspot. I've never used that. So it's not necessarily about if it provides internet and it can output over USB, or it can be it's outputting a Wi-Fi signal. Anything can work with it. Do you have a Stream Deck, and what do you use yours to do? Do I have a Stream Deck? Let's see. Which camera? I pressed the wrong button. Do I have a Stream Deck? Yes, I actually have two. I got one right here. That is for this system. Then I have another one that's right here, and that's the one that I'm using to do all of this stuff. Bringing up my graphics and all the other stuff that's going to that system. So yes, I use that for what y'all are seeing right now. And how I have it set up at Antioch is because a lot of them don't know the insides of OBS. So I just have it set up to us literally 1 through 8. When they come in, they press number 1, that opens up OBS. Number 2 makes it go to pre-service. Number 3 is start the live stream. Number 4 goes to the live streaming service. 5 is for be right back, online giving or whatever. And then, 7 is ending, and then the other one is off. So it's like they literally just press the buttons and that gets them through their stuff. I'm completely lost other than us updating our computer. Do you have any thoughts or solutions? Are you getting, I would download the software on, if you have access to another computer, do you have the same issue? Other thing I would say, if it's talking about lagging, download Handbrake. Handbrake is a software that helps, and I do this on ProPresenter as well too. Sometimes it just chokes on trying to read video files and stuff like that, and I can recompress the file to make it smaller. So like, for example, let's see, do I have this on my Computron right here? Let's cut back over here. I have Handbrake here. And let me find a video. Well, actually, I'll download the graphic that I just did. So this is the graphic that I have here. If we look at the size of this file, I mean, that's five megabytes. Not big at all. I need something else to be a better example, but we'll try it. And we'll just drag this here, and it re-encodes it to make the file smaller. So I'll move it to my desktop so it's easier for me to find where it is. I normally re-encode these to make the file smaller, and sometimes that helps. No, I don't want to stop the encoder. I pressed the button too many times. Let's see what the file is. Again, I don't know how much smaller it's going to make it. It was only 5 megs. All right, so now let's see what the file size is now. That's here. And it got it down to 3.57. Not a big deal, but when you start doing some of these bigger files, I just compress the file and it helps out, at least for a Pro Presenter it's done for me. I would try that. Hello. Thanks for joining. Let's see. ATEM Extreme G2 versus the Rode video at the same price. I would go with the Rode. Easy to use NDI and so on. Yeah, I would say the fact that I don't believe Blackmagic is ever going to add NDI because that's their competitor. So they would have to pay their competitor a licensing fee to add that stuff to it. It would be easier for you to get yourself an NDI capture device that converts it to HDMI and just plug it into your ATEM. But again, I understand that. I'm so stuck with the ATEM because I've been using it for years. The Rode, if I gave it more time, I'm sure. I mean, they have advantages. The fact that it does that podcast shifting for whoever's talking, I mean, that just saves me from time from editing. So if I had the choice, I would probably put the bigger one of that inside of that studio, the recording studio, and that makes it easier for doing podcasts and recording. That's what I would personally use. Pastor Rob, is the travel rider really worth getting? Yes, it is. I think it is. Now, again, since I'm going to Connecticut Friday next week, this is where I'm actually going to really test this, and I'm going to probably bring. I have a mini switch downstairs. That port number 1 is dead. So it can't provide PoE power, so I have to plug it in. I'll probably pair that with this, and that's what I'm going to be working off of because that's what I'm going to be doing my other videos or the reading through the Bible and stuff like that and editing the video there. So I'm going to be testing it there. Honestly, for $80, it's the same price as that other router. So if you're looking at getting one, I mean, the fact that this thing is about, and I didn't do a size comparison, but I mean, that's a Pixel 8. So about the same thickness. No, actually a smaller thickness. The case is actually that if I take the case off, it's about as thick as my phone. Yes, I think it's a good one, especially if you're traveling a lot. Have you had success with using HDMI wireless transmitter? Yes, I have used that one, that JTech. That's the one I actually installed when I was out in California for that church. Don't recall their name off the top of my head. I'll remember in a second. Now, I've done that for sending presentations and a confidence monitor that has text. I have not used any, nor would I use any of those regular wireless HDMI things for video where it has to sync up with audio. Text, you're not going to notice if it's out of sync. I use it for those. But yes, I have. What do I use for graphics animations? I used to use After Effects, but After Effects is horrible on Windows, and I used to do it on my Mac, but I'm trying to work my way out of the Adobe line because Adobe has gotten too big for its britches, and it doesn't really do that much updates or any of that stuff. I'm just sticking. I've downgraded my Creative Cloud license to nothing but Photoshop. And I'm really trying to get out of that and move to GIMP. I just use Photoshop mainly because I've been using it for like 15, 20 years. And then I'm used to that. I don't like the monthly fee, but that's kind of where I'm at. I have to know why you dissed your iPhone. Because Honestly, it was I really got the iPhone first because I needed another number. Because my cell phone number, I've had that for years. And then people started taking advantage of when I started having a business. They would call my personal number to jump the line. And I had too many people exploit that. I have, like, I got a couple of them today. I get like text messages multiple times throughout the day of stupid companies texting me saying, "Hey, we're going to give you this amount for a business line of credit," and they start sending me applications and all this other nonsense, and I just get so much spam. So anyway, I bought a new phone so I can have another number that I don't give out to anybody. I give to selective people, so I know if somebody calls me and you're not in my contact list, it's spam. I block everybody. That was also an opportunity for me to get an iPhone because I had so many people asking me questions about Apple products and I didn't have them. That's why I got the Mac Mini so that I can have one instead of me borrowing somebody's computer at church. And I had one. And I have an iPad. So I had that stuff to be able to test the stuff that people ask me. Ultimately, I had a 14 and I started noticing that stuff that they've lied about. They've been convicted of, but they still do it. iPhone and most of these companies, they start slowing down their products to try and push people to get the upgraded one. And honestly, I wasn't really that impressed with the iPhone, to be quite honest. I'm not trying to be an Apple hater right now. I'm just really not impressed with it. The images in comparison to what I did with my Pixel 8 just blew away the 14, and I have a Pixel 10 Pro that replaced that. So now I still have the iPhone, so I can use it for hardware, but for regular phone calls and stuff like that, nah, I moved over to that one. That'll be the reason why. I completely agree. And this is where I'm going to do the follow up of how this is going to connect to the hotel because they said they made it simplified for doing that. So that's what I'm looking for. Is that for your animations? I might have to look into that. Thank you for that. Michael, hello, hello. I am well. How are you doing, sir? Let's see. Where are we at? So I mean, that's what we got going on so far. So I don't know, folks. I mean, I don't I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because there's certain things I don't think I need to talk about right now. Let me keep it media ministry related. Folks, please take the stuff that I'm talking about, and I know I'm preaching to the choir when I say this. Please take the opportunity that we have with media ministry and do something beyond average with it. That's the reason why we're talking about not just getting all this stuff just so you can make your service look better. There is an opportunity to create content that feeds a need that is so desperate right now to educate people on truth and meet people who are hurting in ways that the church has had a deaf ear to. Again, I'm not no super Bible scholar. The only reason I put out the read the Bible in a year is to convict myself to read it more and to just put something out there to help because you'll be surprised how many churches you go to that people are regurgitating stuff that they've heard, but they don't know that stuff to be true themselves because they haven't read it. How many times people are watching podcasts where people are just regurgitating the same stupid, dumb, evil stuff over and over again. People not knowing that you can repeat the Bible all day long, but if your character does not match that stuff, that's a problem. Memorizing Bible scripture means nothing if it doesn't affect how you act. And this is an opportunity for us to use what we have outside of your regular service to show how can we apply this stuff in everyday principles. I don't like the fact that I can't watch reels or shorts And I can't share none of that stuff with my daughter because I have, I mean, it's like they just cussing up a storm. They're all, it's just like, it's to the point where I can't look on anything on Facebook. I can't do nothing on Instagram. Can't do nothing on YouTube because it's just hell everywhere. And this is an opportunity for us to use all the video switches, the software, the animations, the cameras, and all this other stuff to create wholesome, truthful content that people are hungry for. Because if all you do is keep surrounding yourself with the same foolishness all the time, and I don't want to say it foolishness like that, if you just keep hearing something over and over again, over and over and over again, no matter how strong you are, it is going to affect you. So this is an opportunity. Like I think I said, I heard somebody say this. When I grew up, there were TV shows that weren't about drama all the time. There was about just good, wholesome family stuff. Like, anybody remember 227? Does anybody remember The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? It was, I mean, it was not, I'm not just talking about black shows. I'm just talking about shows in general where it just talked about wholesome stuff. It wasn't about crazy stuff. We've normalized the crazy all the time. People acting out, people having massacre here and school shooting here and this here and drama here. It's like, I don't know. Let me stop. Let me go back to answer some questions. I'm gonna have 3 cloud NASs in my setup. With a combined 5 terabytes of monthly money. I believe that you're using the unified NAS. What is your opinion with using your unified NAS? What do you mean? What's my opinion on using it? I mean, I have the NAS so that I don't have to rely on those services that I have to pay monthly. So it's more in my control. I have access. The apps give me the same functionality as all those other cloud bases, but I own it. So that's why I really, really, really like those. May 16, out of curiosity, what is the Unified Travel Router not doing that the UCG Ultra does? Kind of want a new router for the church. The travel router is really, I would not use this as my main router for a church or something like this. This is just, like I said, this is for traveling where I want to have secure access back and forth, and I want a smaller footprint. And I wanted to blow $80 on some new gadgets. That's really what it's for. This is mainly for my go-to for traveling, all that stuff. That's me. Cool. So I'm going to look into that so I can get rid of the other stuff. I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock on Monday. I want to, depending on how I hear, I haven't heard anything back on this other install. If I don't hear that, I'll be there Monday through Friday. Exactly. At our leadership monthly meeting, I kind of tore into the media ministry and let them know how important that this ministry is. I reminded them that the live stream is our form. Exactly. I mean, I don't know. So you want to rant? Here we go. I guess my whole thing, and this is my frustration. I don't even know how to really say it. For me, the hardest thing is I know what I'm able to do, but I'm not able to use it to its fullest ability. Or I have visions and desires to do stuff that I have absolutely no idea how to accomplish them in any way, shape, or form. And it frustrates me, and I've talked about this before, it frustrates me to no end that it's more people that are stealing content just to get rich, and they're profiting from that over people that are trying to just create something from the ground up. And then I just sit back and I'm like, I'm not even going to go that far into it. I keep some of that still personal. But I mean, that's just a frustration to me. I'm like, I just sit back here and it's like, man, all I'm trying to do is just trying to help. And I'm trying to uplift, trying to build, trying to have churches reach more people. And I have more people fighting with me. And I'm like, like you're fighting with me because I want to put a podcast studio in place so that we can have other content to reach and talk to the needs of people. But you'd rather not do that because you don't want to spend the money on it. You'd rather just be like Scrooge McDuck and have your money pile up in your money bin for the church that's not being used for anything except for just being able to flex and say, look at how much we have in our bank account. Look how much you have that is just sitting there at a waste. You're not using it for anything. You're not using it to build up the church. You're not doing it to help out your community. You're not doing anything to get rid of the rodent problem inside the building. You're not doing anything to retrofit and fix up the stuff that's been sitting here for 30 years. That's why I wish, like, man, if seeing some of these people doing this stupid stuff and making $25,000 a month and all this, I sit back and be like, man, what could I do if my YouTube channel, this is the only time I'm going to say this. So please hear the heart of what I'm saying. This is not me trying to ask you for nothing. I'm just being honest. I have 71,000 subscribers. Just imagine that your church has 71,000 subscribers. Just imagine that. And what if everybody in the church in that subscriber just decided to donate $1 a month? That would mean that's $71,000 a month. What could your ministry do with that? I know how much stuff I could do if my channel was bringing in $71,000 a month. I could hire a whole bunch of people reliably, give them stable, safe employment. Then I could duplicate myself. We can reach more and stuff like that. I mean, that's the frustration of that you see people, it seems like, and that's, I don't show this if y'all are watching the Read the Bible Through 1 Year. Right now, that whole story of Job is frustrating to me because, like, it's frustrating and encouraging at the same time that I'm just like, and maybe I'll leave this to you, Pastor Rob. We can actually, this could be a good talking point. How did Job reconcile with losing so much? And yes, God blessed him doubly when everything was over. But how do you reconcile the feeling of lost children that you lost because God was bragging on you? How do you, anyway, see, I'm giving some talking points right there. But anyway, that's the stuff that when you hear, at least for me, when I would hear in the Bible, nobody would explain because nobody wanted to touch that with a 1,000-foot pole. Because it's very easy just to repeat talking about same talking points that you've heard. But how can you expound, delve into other stuff? Because I say that now, that some of the stuff that we talk about from a media ministry standpoint, with all the craziness that's going on in our world right now, not just in America, everywhere, how do you reconcile and talk and address the people that love God, but they're kind of scared? They're questioning stuff. Kind of like how John the Baptist was questioning, like, man, I was doing it. Anyway, let me go to y'all's questions. Scott, hello. Yeah, Family Matters. I mean, good, wholesome stuff that isn't about just drama and chaos and fornication and adultery and shooting up people. Philip Paul, does Unified NAS give you access to PowerPoint and Word across? Yes, because it's like a drive. It's don't think too high of that. A NAS is nothing but a hard drive that's accessible over the network. So if you have PowerPoint or Word files or whatever on there, it's going to open up just like it would on your computer. That's all it is. Just like all the stuff that you see that I'm doing here is saved on my NAS, but I'm pulling it up on any of my computers. That's all that is. I'm just not enjoying using the ERX when we also run a dedicated unified network appliance with all our switching done via Cisco. Can't go full Cisco for routing, so Unify is really the only choice. Yeah, Cisco, honestly, that used to be the standard. I mean, they're not, in my personal opinion. The answer is just like yeah, thank you. I read that. Francisco, hello. Thinking of helping our pastor since he has a new laptop and a tablet anyway to give him access. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I have it set up there as well. Don't worry about those people who are behind money. I was wondering about how the word of God will reach the whole world. Then came the live stream, and what you are doing to help out of it is huge. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me rein myself in. That's the difference of sympathy and empathy. Exactly. The church dynamic has changed, especially after the pandemic. Thanks for these tips that will help the church outreach engage to those that stay at home. Hopefully, encourage them to come back. Exactly. And honestly, the church needs to be comfortable with the fact that if they don't come back, because is sharing God's word and encouragement. Not saying that you're implying this, but this is just in general. A lot of churches have this mindset that the end goal is to get people back in place, which is nothing wrong with that. I believe that if you're only doing it to get people there, you're missing the opportunity. I think that if you give your best without any, I'll put it this way, and I've already mentioned this. I don't make tons on YouTube. Honestly, I don't make tons in my business. Most of the time, I'm scraping by, to be quite honest with you. But I don't let, when I do this stuff, when I do my videos, my video, it's not on the forefront of my mind. If I do this video will make me, this would be my 1 million view winner that's going to bring me in this amount of money. That is not on my mind at all. When I make the stuff here, I'm like, I hope this helps somebody, because if it was vice versa, I sure as heck didn't have nobody helping me when I had these questions. That's the reason I generate the stuff I do. That's the reason why, that's the premise and the purpose and the heart behind all the stuff that I do. So I say that same way is the content being made from the ministry solely trying to minister to people's needs, and you don't care about the reciprocity that's going to come back to you. Meaning that, man, am I doing this video just so I can make a $2,000 month this month, or $5,000 this month? Or is it like, I'm just out here trying to help? I know somebody is hurting, so hopefully this can touch and reach them and help them in their point of struggle, and then just leave it from there. That's at least my mindset. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why stuff hasn't blown up for me. I don't know. I just don't feel led to do that. Even if I want it to be like that, I just don't have a heart for that. Oh, I'm running the UCG Ultra in my home lab. Love it. I just need something that is both familiar to me and easy and well documented enough for training. Got you. Dean. Good morning to you and everybody. Bob Marley song rang in my head this morning. Rise up this morning and smile. And Pastor Rob, another thing, we now have 2 communities, in person and hybrid. I would be talking about that. Exactly. And those communities aren't going away. And we shouldn't demonize one over the other, or make one a priority over the other. I saw the video on the travel router thinking about getting one, but also the UPS. And from them, I think you use a big power bank. Wasn't Jack or something? It was Anchor. Anchor is what I'm using. That's what I have back here. My other Anchor is what I keep in the car that I take with me when I use portable. And I would put the bigger one up here because it provides more power, but it doesn't have as many plugs. So that one only has 3 plugs that have a ground on it. This one that I have here has 7. So that's the reason why I used that one, the C1000. Philip Paul, any recommendation on the NAS for the pastor? You don't need a separate one for the pastor. Just make one big and you just use it and isolate and make a folder just for him on that one. Yeah, that's the beauty of having a NAS. Like, now, granted, I have multiple. I have one big NAS that is nothing but for production and for my business, and that's just for videos. That's the one that has 42 terabytes. That's what stores all my stuff here. Now, my unified NAS, that just backs up my phones. That was something small. That's 4 terabytes. That's the same amount that I was paying for Google Cloud. So that's the idea of migrating that stuff away. I have another NAS that's for my personal stuff, home, family, all that other stuff like that, documents, tax information, all that stuff. I have that one. And then I think my other one was for client stuff. No, I'm sorry. I have one smaller NAS for business. I have another one for personal. The unified one is going to be my replacement mainly for all my stuff on Google that I'm slowly moving all that stuff over. And then my bigger one is for media and content creation. But I mean, you get like, that's the one I installed like at, the unified NAS is what I installed at First United Methodist. And I have one for all the stuff that Amy was using and then made subfolders for everybody else. And their NAS was only like 2 terabytes and theirs currently now is 10 terabytes. They have more than enough space. So just make a folder and give just your pastor permissions to that folder and he can use that. You don't need to have multiple. Yes, I have. When I was on the roof at First United Methodist, that's when I was using that. Or when I go on cruises, when I do those videos, that's when I use it that way. How many screens do you use while doing this, and how do you use them? Well, how I use them right now is, this is my one for ProPresenter, and in here is my vMix social output that I'm looking to. And then I have YouTube right here so I can see everything that's going on. This screen is the one that I share with y'all when I do my super source so that y'all see. Then over here, that is vMix social on that screen. And then that's vMix itself that's running. Now the other screen you can't see. And then I have my multi-view of my ATEM right there. And then I have another mini monitor right here that is showing exactly what I'm seeing. If I punch in some more. Oh, okay. You're going too far there for Mako. So I'm able to see, and it's a confidence monitor for me to see what I'm seeing and what y'all are seeing. So that makes I know that I'm actually looking at stuff and seeing the shots. That's how I do with mine. Hope that helps you. Thomas, thank you, AJ, for your knowledge. You helped me to massively upgrade my mother-in-law's ministry. Jesus really is going to bless you. Well, I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be of help. TrueNAS lets you create separate space for different sets of data if you have an old system doing nothing. Yeah, I remember using that one. Now, let's do some old school for our tech ones out here. My first home NAS was actually Windows Home Server. Do y'all remember that? That was actually a cool little product. I wish they kept that. I had an old computer. I just threw all that stuff into there, and that's what I used to have. And I used to have a link and have the acquirer would log into that. That's how they got access to all the files and everything like that. And that was well before Google Drive and all that other stuff. But and I keep pressing the wrong button. One thing I will say, folks, yes, we're going to be promoting this to high heaven because that's the whole point. Want to call it out and just remind y'all of the 4ME, 4th annual 4ME conference, July 24th through 25th. Go to 4meconference.com to get registered. It is going to be at Antioch Baptist Church. Now, it is going to be online and in person. So don't feel if you can't make it physically, that's fine. We're still going to have some other stuff. We've been installing cameras as well, too. So the next thing I'm going to do is one of these other cameras that I have, I'm looking at mounting inside the fellowship hall. The multi-purpose room. That's where we had food and we're eating and everything like that. I'm looking at probably having a mini PC set up there so that it can stream so y'all can see and have a kind of like a preview of what's going on. We're probably going to see if I can reach out to some more vendors and get some more vendors involved so we can have some demos and all that other stuff set up. Yeah, I have the micro camera here. I still got my Pocket Cinema camera here, and then I have the studio camera that's still in the box downstairs. Exactly. I really, really, really like that. Yes, if it's set up and it supports it. Yes. I'm still toying with the idea of beaming our networking to a building on the other side of the parking lot. Wasn't there a product? Yes, that's the nano beam. I have those in the garage. That's when I was sending stuff to the football field when I was doing the live streaming there. And I know that at Antioch, I wanted to put that in place, but the powers that be didn't want stuff. Whatever. I had that set up so it can beam internet to the house that somebody donated to the church, but the church wasn't the house. The church wasn't using the house, and now it's kind of the foundation is getting messed up, so they're actually going to tear the house down. So we had that for that, or it could always be repurposed to send internet out in the field and stuff like that if need be. That's crazy. I didn't ask how you connected. Well, I mean, it's these three that are in front of me are on my main computer, and then I have another three, which is another computer right here. So I just have that other monitor running here. So the graphics card after this live stream is over, because I have a computer I had to build somebody, that is a DDR5. So I'm taking the memory out of this system and putting it in the system downstairs to send that off. And then the memory that I bought that's taking 2 weeks, that's going to go back in this system, but it's not going to be here till the 16th. So I'm going to be heading to Hartford, Connecticut. So I should have enough time to put that in place. And I also say that I'm taking the graphics card out of that because that has 3 outputs. That's going to go back in this system here. And a new graphics card that is coming in that I had to replace at Antioch. No. I'm giving this graphics card to Antioch for their system. And I got a 4 output one here. So that's going to allow me to have these 3 monitors. And then I'll have one more that can go into the ATEM so y'all can see actually look here, because there was no way for me to connect this system here so y'all can see what's going on. So that's what I have going on, and that should be here sometime today. This might be personal, but how do you manage your time with family? I know you take vacation, but you travel too. I mean, it's not personal like that. During school years, because of custody, my daughter is with me 1 week out of the month. In the summer, she's with me the entire month of June. So, like, she's getting ready to go back to her mom today. So it's 3 weeks out of the month. It's just me. So I travel and I try and do all my stuff when she's not with me. I mean, because honestly, when I go home, this house is empty. When she's not here, it's just me. I don't have people calling and, stopping by and all this other stuff like that. So mainly I come here, work, I go out and help, come home, eat, go to sleep, clean up, rinse and repeat. Then when my daughter's here, I mess with her, spend time with her, play video games, shuttle her back and forth to her martial arts or whatever event she has at school, be in super daddy mode. And then since 2 years ago, when she's with me for the whole month of June, we plan big trips, and she likes the cruises, and I like to go on cruises. But every time when I go on cruises, I would just go by myself because I didn't have anybody that wanted to go. And most of the time, I have to pay for double occupancy anyway. So then I would just go out here like, hey, anybody want to go on a cruise? I already paid for it. You only got to pay for your airfare. So sometimes I take people with me that time, or most of the time it'll just be me. But now the fact that she goes with me and she loves it, she loves the cruises, we plan that. So we're going on the Allure of the Seas in June. We're going on the Icon of the Seas next year in June. And depending on the state of how the world is, I'd love for us to go on another cruise and, take her to Europe. And we go on a cruise there. My whole thing is with my dad was in the Army. And he promised my mom so many times that he was going to take her to Germany and Paris and stuff like that. And they got so busy that they never, he passed before he got a chance to ever do that. So I don't want to repeat that. So my vision has always been when my daughter comes home and says, Daddy, we studied the pyramids, or we studied the Parthenon, or we studied the Louvre, the Arc de Triomphe, or the Eiffel Tower. We talked about that in school. Okay. How about let's go and see it. That's what I want to do. So I my whole goal is I try to, and again, I'm not going to repeat what somebody else said because I think their statement was amiss. I just want to do the best that I possibly can in what God told me to do. And that's helping and serving. Helping media ministries when it's my role to do music, I do the best that I possibly can at that. And then also be the best dad that I possibly can. And that is to give my daughter memories, experiences, life lessons, show character, and do the best that I possibly can. And I want to make memories. That's where I'm at. You know, getting ready to go on 48. Haven't always liked the cards that were dealt to me. But just trying to make the most out of the situation it is right now. Like, I'd love to have a team of people to do what I'm doing, but I don't have it. So I do the best I can in that situation. I'd love to have, in my personal opinion, a complete home for my daughter to come home and she has her mom and dad and everybody in one place. Not in that place. So I give the best I possibly can. And I do that with every aspect that I possibly can with what I got. That's it. So that's how I try and balance that out. It's not perfect, but do the best I possibly can. Let me see. Got a bunch of conversations going back and forth. Hold on. What's this one? Yeah, I'm thinking of using the old Windows 7 4 GB RAM laying around with me, which I just tested out. Windows is working. Does the PC should be? I mean, if you use that TrueNAS, that's going to be putting Linux on that. So that memory, you should be fine. It ain't going to be Windows. So you should be fine. Thank you. That was from Vid Summit that I went to, 3 years ago. Trying to find it. Trying to find a purpose for it. Hey, we try and do what we can. And it is almost noon. I think I want to get something to eat. And I think I need to pack up this computer and ship this out. So I think I've blabbed enough, folks. Like I said, don't miss out. We got the For Me conference. Again, if you've been to one, any of them, I have some people who've been for all three of them. You know, we need some teachers. Don't be concerned about I've never taught in front of somebody. Like I told somebody the other day, like this is the most forgiving group that you're going to be able to teach to because they're people of your peers. So it's not about like, I'm afraid of talking in front of people. No, it's not about that. It's about you sharing your knowledge because you're a genius in some area. Something that you don't think that you do nonchalantly so easily. Somebody wants that information from you. This is the opportunity for you to share what you got. And not just your local ministry, but just the world at large, because it's not just the people attending the conference and watching the conference. It's the videos that we upload after the fact that people are getting ministered to and they're helping. And that's what it's all about. So I would highly recommend, once I put the stuff in place, that you can register to be a teacher. There is a discount price for being a teacher in person or online, as well as volunteers. I need to finish doing that stuff. That'll probably be like in the next 2 weeks. I make that be available. So if you're going to attend and you want to be a teacher, I say hold on. Unless you want to, get registered and I migrate you over to that. And we'll do a discounted price from that. But highly recommend that. Be on the lookout for flyers and all that other stuff that's going to go out. And it's going to be really cool. I think I might be forgetting something. But I want to give a big shout out to all my Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you so much. Some of these people have been supporting me for years. And they help make this doable. If you like what we do, folks, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO. You can get started for as low as $1.50 a month, or you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button down below. No matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us train media ministries all over the place. And just as a reminder, Patreon supporters and YouTube members, y'all do have access to a discount when it comes to conferences. I don't know if y'all ever remembered that. I always say that, but you do have discounts. I will refresh and put a code up there for that. I think I knock it down by like 10% or something like that if you want to be in person or online. Just another way of saying thank you for everything. We want to try and get some more stuff done because I know last year a couple of people said, AJ, do you have any shirts? Didn't have enough time to do that. So we're going to try and design something for e-missionary shirts. Pastor Rob, we are looking at the dry fit, the golf shirts with the Beyond the Four Walls logo, trying to get a lot of that stuff done. But like I said, I'm not trying to repeat the last thing that I did. I did a lot of that stuff by myself, and I had Scott and I had Terrence come in, help set up everything. Really, 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 really appreciate that. But I'm looking at the diversifying and not me doing everything. So be on the lookout if you want to help volunteer online or in person. We definitely need your help. Definitely need your teachers. I would love to have 50 teachers. So that way that maybe we got enough teachers that when people only have to teach one subject, and then they can sit back and enjoy the rest of the time. We're going to have some games and stuff like that, like we did before, some other stuff, but really looking forward to it. Let's close out these last couple of comments, and then we're going to be up and out of here. Let's see. Yeah, Pastor Rob's been with us a few years. Got some good talks on his. All the videos from last year are on the channel as well, too. Travel is great. I've always wanted to go to pyramids. I have a Lego pyramid that me and my daughter built. I've always loved. I wanted to be, long story, after being wanting to be an astronaut, and that dream was killed by my mom. I wanted to be an Egyptologist and a paleontologist and study Egyptology, hieroglyphics. I wanted to do all that stuff. But then back then, this is why I do this. This is a lesson I learned from growing up, not knocking my parents at all. A lot of times my parents told me what I couldn't do. So most of the time when my daughter tells me that she wants to do something, I'm more of encouraging of it. A lot of times it was like, oh, don't be an Egyptologist because there's no money in it. Don't be an astronaut because it's dangerous. And there's so many things I missed out on that I wanted to. So I don't want to tell people what they can't do. I want to encourage them that way. You don't need a GPU. You will need something to give yourself a display initially. So that way you can actually see that everything is starting up. After everything is ran and you got the control that you can connect to it over SSH or something like that and remote into it, then no, you don't need a monitor or anything hooked up to it. You said something about Linux. I got a PC that can't update to Windows 11. Can I install Linux and use it for streaming? Yes, you can. I did a video a while ago where you can Linux, you can put OBS, all that stuff on that, and you can stream very well with that. Or if you want to do it rough, you can actually build it out. And that was kind of what my stream box is. That's running Linux, and that's doing that whole thing as well. But yes, you can. Hey, we're working on it. All right, folks. So like I said, just know that just because the people that are closest to you don't say something to you, that you are appreciated. As much as they... I'll leave that one for later on. We do have a round table this Sunday. So the other thing is, if you want to go in depth, see y'all at the round table. All the information is on the Facebook group. Round table is at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully I should be back from North Carolina by then. I would hope I wouldn't be that long. It's a 2.5 hour drive. So if I leave out, I should be back around like 5. But anyway, we're going to go into that. Know that y'all are appreciated, folks. Thank you for what you're doing. Really appreciate it. I know I'm not at your church. I'm not in your city, your state, your country. But you make it easier. You make this worth doing. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing unto God. I understand that. But we were made to be sociable. And it's kind of hard. I ain't got to that point where it's like all I just need is Jesus. And I mean, I'm not there yet. I'm just being honest with you. I need some people association with. So again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. and talking with me and sitting here listening to me rant. And I hope the little stuff I did helped y'all. I hope you have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll be seeing y'all on the next video, folks. Later.